Part 2. Reynard the Fox. In the crowd, Willie the Weasel, who was not the only one there to admire the fox's cleverness, murmured to his neighbors, "You know, my friends, it is only a fox's true nature to hunt chickens and smaller animals. I only wish that I was as sharp as he is, to always get away with everything as he does." Others in the crowd nodded in agreement. The king, who had listened patiently to all the complaints and had not said a word till now, stood up with fire in his eyes. Angrily he turned to the badger and commanded, "Come hither, sir, to see this example of your friend Reynard's work. Quiet life indeed. I cannot allow this wretched creature to go unpunished. He must be brought before us to face his accusers." Since no one seemed eager to be the one to summon this crafty animal to court, the king and council chose Sir Bruin the bear to do this job. The king warned Sir Bruin, "Beware, my friend, this fox is ruthless and cunning." "Fear not, my noble king," the burly Bruin boasted. "No miserable little fox can outwit this knight." So Sir Bruin strode purposefully through forest and over mountains until he reached Reynard's castle, Malepartus. Standing outside the gate, the bear bellowed, "Ho, Reynard! It is Bruin the bear. I have been specially sent by our sovereign king to bring you back to stand trial for your many grievous wrongdoings." Reynard opened his door for the bear and said warmly, "Welcome, my dearest Bruin. Of course I shall accompany you back to court. I have nothing to fear there. But first come inside and rest the night. You look worn out." He added, "My wife, Ermeline, and I have little food worthy of such an honored guest. But I know where you might find some honey, if you care for that sort of thing." "Honey!" exclaimed the bear, his stomach growling. "Oh, but that is my favorite food!" Completely forgetting the purpose of his visit, the hungry bear followed the fox into the woods. "Be careful, you must not disturb the bees," warned the fox, as he led Sir Bruin to an old fallen oak tree. A woodcutter's wedge had been driven into the tree trunk, so it could be split into firewood. The fox pointed to the gap the wedge had opened and said, "There's more honey deep in there than you could ever hope to eat." I'm sorry, that was Reynard. "There's more honey deep in there than you could ever hope to eat." Bruin's tummy got the best of his head, and he greedily thrust his arm into the gap into the tree up to his shoulder. Cunning fox then yanked out the wedge, and the opening snapped shut, locking poor Bruin's entire arm in the tree and yanking his face up against its trunk. Howling with pain, Bruin twisted and turned, but he could not manage to free himself. In fact, he did himself even more harm as he swung the trunk back and forth, crashing it into other trees. Finally, he tore his arm out of the tree trunk, leaving much of his fur behind. You know why that happened, children? We know. Because he disturbed the bees. He wasn't kind. Blinded by pain, Bruin crashed and dashed about wildly until he fell right into the river. So miserable was he that gladly he would have drowned in the deep water. Instead, the swift current kept him afloat, finally dumping his bruised body ashore way downstream. "Reynard," he moaned in the dirt, "you are a vile traitor. I will have revenge, I swear." It took poor Bruin 4 days to stagger home. When the king saw the great beast, he cried, "Good heavens, is this the noble Sir Bruin?" Wait, that was the king. "Good heavens, is this the noble Sir Bruin?" "Yes," declared the bear, "and this is what the treacherous fox does to royal messengers." "This is an outrage," shouted the king. "By my crown, I swear justice will be done." King Noble called his council, and all decided to send another messenger to summon Reynard. The king gave his honor to Tybalt the cat. "My king," wailed the cat, "pray tell me how I might succeed at persuading that ruthless fox to come when I am very small and even the mighty Bruin failed." "You may not be a giant," said the king, "but your wisdom and wit will make up for all your small size." The poor cat bowed his head and accepted the assignment, but he begged the king for an official summons to present Reynard. Tybalt then took the royal decree directly to Malepartus, where he found Reynard sitting outside the gate. "Good evening," said Tybalt. "I bring a stern warning from the king. If you do not return to court with me, you and your entire family will have to pay with your lives." "The cats are scared, Ashley. We think something bad's going to happen to him, too." Reynard smiled and said, "Of course, I'll come with you. But first, let's have some supper." You see, he's being kind. Okay. "Then you should rest, and we will start off first thing in the morning." The smart cat countered quickly, "As a matter of fact, I think we should start back tonight." "Heavens, no," said the fox. "One can never tell what kind of cutthroats and thieves one might meet on the road at night." "Maybe you're right," agreed Tybalt. "What will you serve for supper if we stay the night?" "Would a tender morsel of country mouse suit your fancy?" asked Reynard. "Oh my, yes," said the cat, licking his chops and flexing out his sharp claws. "I know where you can have a sumptuous feast," said Reynard, as he led the hungry Tybalt to Parson's barn. Now, in the side of the barn was a hole Reynard had cut for himself the day before, when he stole a chicken, so he took the unsuspecting Tybalt right to that very same hole. When the cat heard the sounds of dozens of mice scurrying around inside the barn, he pounced through the opening, but before he knew it, a rope noose had yanked tight around his neck. Snatched off his feet, Tybalt did somersault in the midair as the rope tightened. He began to thrash around, but only made the noose tighter. Reynard snickered, just as he suspected. The parson's clever little nephew had set up a trap for him to catch him the next time he came by for a free chicken dinner. As the cat struggled helplessly and clawed at the noose, Reynard asked out loud, "Dear Tybalt, are you perhaps eating too fast? I hope you aren't choking on those fat and tasty morsels." By now the commotion in the barn had woken the nimble nephew, who jumped out of bed thinking he had finally caught the wily fox. When he saw it was only poor Tybalt in his trap, the nephew whacked the cat on the head and left him for dead. Reynard, who had been watching from the woods, smirked that each blow Tybalt received was really meant for him. "You shouldn't have been so greedy or careless, clever cat." Tybalt, though battered and bruised, was not dead, and he used every last ounce of strength to chew through the rope around his neck. After freeing himself, the wounded Tybalt stumbled back down the road to court, swearing revenge on the wicked fox. King Noble, who had been forced to seek out poor Tybalt, and I think we know where we're going, Ashley, for his report on Reynard, was enraged to find him so badly done by. The king and his council then and there condemned Reynard to death for his vile deeds.